you're too far behind on your mortgage payments and drowning in other debt as well, you may be looking at foreclosure and bankruptcy. But how do the two relate? Colorado Bankruptcy Experts is here to answer all your questions. Colorado Bankruptcy Experts is a service of the Heupel Law Firm. Kevin Heupel served as the Assistant Attorney General, and his firm is a member of the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcy Attorneys and the prestigious American Consumer Bankruptcy College. Kevin Heupel from Colorado Bankruptcy Experts joins us today. Thanks for being here.
Sure.
So can someone file for bankruptcy even during a foreclosure?
Yeah, absolutely. You can file bankruptcy at any time during the foreclosure process.
And let's talk about then Chapter 7, if that's the route someone goes. How does that relate to a foreclosure?
What a Chapter 7 will do is it'll delay the foreclosure. So maybe you weren't able to get prepared to move, to leave the home, and you file Chapter 7, it'll stop the foreclosure for at least 60 days, and then it'll give you kind of a chance to relocate. It kind of maximizes your time in the home, but you will be getting rid of the home in a Chapter 7.
All right, then explain how a Chapter 13 works in a foreclosure.
Yeah, no, with the Chapter 13, that's a way to save it. So maybe you had lost your job or your income dropped for a while and you weren't able to make your payments, which led to the foreclosure. But now you have sufficient income to pay the mortgage. It's just that you're struggling with trying to catch up the missed payments. What we do there is we put you on a Chapter 13 and you can repay those missed payments over a 3 to 5 year period and keep the home, save it from foreclosure.
All right, so when is it best to file for the bankruptcy? Would it be before a foreclosure, after, during? When is the best time?
You know, it's going to depend on your intent. If you're filing Chapter 13 to save the home, you have to file before the sell date.
Okay.
You call me the day after the sell date, the house is gone. If you're a Chapter 7, it's going to depend on your income if you qualify. And then the other thing is whether you have an HOA, a homeowner association fee tied to the home. Because if you file bankruptcy and you still own the home, you're going to have to start paying those HOA fees after the bankruptcy filing until the foreclosure finishes. And if you've already moved away from the home and it's $400 a month HOA, you know, that could add up pretty high.
Right.
So then you would wait till after the foreclosure to file the Chapter 7. But if you're still living there, then what you do is you file the bankruptcy, pay the HOA until the foreclosure is complete.
And you can stay in the house through that process.
It's a good way to maximize your time in the home rent-free.
Got it. It sounds confusing. You know, there's a lot of information there. Again, that's why it's so important to meet with someone like yourself that offers free consultations to find out what those options are. So it's good information as always. Let's talk about second mortgages. If someone has a second mortgage, can they remove those? Because there's a lot of information out there saying that they can, but it has to qualify, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a catch to it. And the catch is if the value of your home is worth less than the balance of your first mortgage, then you can remove the second. So let's say your first mortgage is $200,000. As long as your home is valued at $199,999 or less, then we can take off the second mortgage, and it doesn't matter if the second mortgage is 10 grand, 20 grand, 40 grand, $50,000 or even higher.
Okay. So that's something, again, to look into and find out what your options are. Now let's talk about credit, because people think that going through a bankruptcy is going to ruin their credit, just like a foreclosure would ruin their credit. But there's advantages to the bankruptcy.
Right. The problem when you go into foreclosure, you got two issues. One, you have a public record that your home went into foreclosure. It sits there for 7 years, which you're not going to be rebuilding credit. Then you're going to get a 1099 on the deficiency. So whatever the home sold for and it was less than the mortgage, you have to pay taxes on that. With bankruptcy, we get rid of the deficiency, you don't have to pay taxes, and you rebuild your credit in 2 years, and you're also eligible to buy an FHA home loan 3 years after the bankruptcy.
Excellent. Well, again, people need to meet with you and find out what their options are. It's a free consultation.